What? All I said was bing bong.
No,
Oh
I
my
almost
God.
knocked my Pepsi off my desk
I saw the fucking.
onto my carpet.
I've just discovered twerking.
No, you only just discovered
Again.
twerking.
No. I've just discovered.
Have you been on Instagram like at any point in time?
Not
No.
discovered. I've rediscovered twerking sands in the idea talk,
No,
and
shut
I wish
up.
I had.
Oh, you looked back into that channel. Okay.
Yeah, and it looked back at me.
Welcome to Nerd Talk, by the way.
You want to understand the context if you're not in the chat.
Fucking idiot talk.
Yeah, fucking moron talk here. Episode 2. And it just welcome to our hell, because that's all these last weeks have been. That's all these last week has been just hell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, which queen dropped?
Witch Queen dropped, and I've heard everyone fucking speak about it. Every other Destiny fucking DLC, not heard a thing, not a fucking thing about it.
That's because this one's
drops.
actually good.
This one drops. I can't get away from fuckers like talking about it. It's everywhere I go. I have 3 dickheads in my English lesson who love talking about Destiny now, and I'm like, why? You never spoke about it beforehand. Why?
That's because this DLC is basically the best one that's come out, and that's comparing both D1 and D2.
Oh, wait, so both Destiny 1's DLC and Destiny 2's DLC?
Yeah.
God
Because the
damn.
standard was, like, the order it always went in was the Destiny 1 DLC, The Taken King, and then Destiny 2 Forsaken, and then we didn't talk about the rest of the DLCs. And then Witch Queen dropped, and it's like, okay, so this is the best one. This is compared to both Taken King and Forsaken, because it wasn't like just a bunch of fetch quests or like go to point A or point B. There's actually a story that kept you interested the entire time instead of do this mission, now it's done, go do the next one.
I'm trying to think of a game franchise that's done. I know I have heard of another game franchise where it's been like that, where it's like, oh no, this DLC is pretty good. All of them are like fair enough, and then like the newest DLC drops, and it's like, never mind, that is very clearly the best one. Well, I don't even have to think of it for games. Like Spider-Man, I think is the perfect example in where it's like, hey, look. Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, and then the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 all came out. Then Homecoming came out, and they're like, ooh, which one's the new best Spider-Man? We don't know. And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, and everyone unanimously was like, okay, so that's the best Spider-Man film. So what's second place?
What gets the honor of being second?
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was like the same with the Dragon Ball movies as well. Because I was like, alright, what's better? Battle of Gods or Resurrection of F? And then Broly came out and it's like, okay, that's the best. Which one's second?
I still have to see a lot of the Dragon Ball. I still have to finish rewatching Dragon Ball. I've been so busy like streaming and everything, I never got to finish. Like I got past Cell Saga, and I think I started World Tournament, and then had to drop off from there because I think it was around November of 2020. I was starting rewatching it, and I was just like, and I was still in a 4-year college. So I was like, I can't sit here and watch Dragon Ball anymore because I'm literally spending the entire day watching Dragon Ball and not doing anything else.
Speaking of
classes, I gotta do.
Speaking of college, I've been, since I joined in my 6th form in 2019. I've been having this, like, self-debate with myself about, like, university and all that. And since I've joined my current college, not a 6th form. Don't go to a 6th form, they're awful. Don't take that as an actual advice. But anyway, since I've joined my current college, this year's the year where I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to have, like, a full talk about university to my teachers who have been there. And every single teacher has suggested that specifically me, out of everyone in my class, need to go to fucking university. And I'm like, can you just... I need someone to back me up. You, one of the least dumber and more social people in here, you can go uni. Yeah? And they're like, really? really, I don't wanna.
Do you have to pay for university as well? Like,
Well, yeah,
yeah. So that's
but
gonna be
like,
expensive.
well, yeah, it's gonna be expensive until all of my teachers who have spoken about it are like, well, yeah, no, I'm 30, he's 25, and we haven't even touched our student debts, and we're not going to. And it's like, you can just do that? Like, I thought that was like a constantly paying thing, like how taxes are paid out. No, not taxes, like your bills are paid out. It's like it's a constantly paying thing that you need to look out for. Or car insurance. I think car insurance is like the best representation of it, where it's like, yeah, it costs quite a fucking bit.
Yeah.
And you have to pay it. But it's not going to be like detrimental to you. But I think that's more of like an American thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The difference being is that, over time you will eventually pay for not college, university, but it's going to take a fucking long time.
Yeah, like I'll be literally, I'll be having a legitimate midlife crisis. Not at 20, like I'm currently having, but at like 50.
Like you'll be mid fucking age before you ever get to pay that shit off. I've seen people legitimately like take, I don't know, like 30 something years to pay off the student loans, and that's ridiculous. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, and the thing as well, I don't want to live with like other uni students. I want my own ass apartment. So I'm gonna try and pay for that with like all the uni shit that's going on. Sounds like legit assery. It sounds like ass.
Assery.
But not a single person who is in a professional field, in my course anyway, has been like, no, you should absolutely take it. Or no one's been like, you shouldn't take it.
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't imagine living in an apartment room with a bunch of other fucking people. Like, that sounds like it would suck. Like, first of all, privacy. You literally will not have privacy. Like, if you want to do your own shit or
I have dorms. It's not
like,
that bad, but then again, it's a very small room and space that you have. So you kind of need to pick and choose what are you gonna bring. It's like kind of.
Well, no matter what, if I do go university, I'm either gonna have to buy a super expensive, super strong laptop, or I'm bringing my PC.
I mean, it all depends on what you think you're going to be doing while you're in your dorm. Like, if you think you're going to be doing a lot of like heavy like workflow stuff, then just bring a PC. But if you just think you're going to be like kind of doing some gaming on the side, maybe some light workflow stuff, then just get a laptop.
Yeah.
Because bringing your PC it's a whole thing.
Well, here's the plan that I'm currently like thinking of going with. Yeah. So, it's like, just get both. Get a laptop for when you have to go to like, oh, fuck's sake, what they called? When old professional people have to like speak to you about gibberish of the course you're doing for like 3 hours and you would take nothing.
Lectures?
Yeah, the lectures. Like, bring a laptop for the lectures.
He's gonna go to university, doesn't know what the fuck a lecture is.
No, I can't
remember. Off to a great start.
I couldn't remember the fucking name. Okay, but yeah, like have a laptop, like a decent sized laptop for like, hey, you need to edit on the fly, or you're in like your other college uni mates dorms, you all need to get shit done. It's like, yeah, I'll bring a laptop then, or buy a decent sized laptop, or if it's like I need to do some solo editing, I just buy a PC as well.
I will say the best laptop to go with is a Windows one, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes, because I'd willingly buy a Mac.
my roommate, back when I was dorming, when I was going to a 4-year college, and I don't want to do that ever again. But when we were dorming, he got a MacBook. He had he was someone that he had all the Apple stuff, like the iPhone, Apple Watch, MacBook.
AirPods.
Yeah. And I'm not, but yeah, he had the AirPods too. And it's not to say I wouldn't want an Apple Watch because I own an iPhone. I'm gonna get one. I don't know when, but not anytime soon because it's not something that I need at the moment.
Yeah, not super important.
Yeah, but it's like there was one program specifically that was a Windows application, and he had a MacBook, and there was no Mac like port of it, so he had to spend like 2-3 days before the semester started trying to like get a Windows instance running on his MacBook. And he's not someone that's very computer inclined, and I've never really worked with that myself, so I didn't know really what to do either because I haven't really done any of that. I've just used Windows for most of my life.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, he was struggling to figure out, for 2-3 days, how am I gonna, do my work if I can't even use one of the programs? So he literally had to I forgot what the program was called, but it lets you run Windows on your MacBook.
He's probably using Boot Camp or something.
I think it was Boot Camp. Yeah, I think it was Boot Camp. And I guess that's one way to do it. But for me, I'd rather just kind of have a Windows machine that I can, one, configure myself and know that if something breaks down, I can fucking fix it myself, Apple. And
without having your license just straight up destroyed because you're trying to fix something.
Exactly.
Well, if you actually want to get the repair cheaper, you have to pay Apple Care. Like, that's fucking bullshit.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Americans already have to pay for healthcare. Come on.
You gotta pay healthcare on our phones too. So, at least with a Windows computer, you have a lot more options to kind of use a lot more things without being locked out from MacBook. Because if there's something that's not usable on Windows, then someone's already made a Windows compatible version or something like it.
Yeah.
And then there's Mac where it's like, nope, if it's not on Mac, then you're fucked. Go find something else. Go find the second rate of whatever you're trying to do right now.
Yeah, because right now
that and Macs are shitty for gaming, so
that too.
Can I just say real quick, like getting like a MacBook, like I for college recently, I needed a my own personal laptop really just for schoolwork, and I bought an old MacBook off of eBay, and oh my god, can I just say fuck Apple? Apple is terrible. Apple like the only reason my MacBook is so incredibly out of date is because it has a 32-bit security chip and it needs a 64-bit to run newer operating systems.
Yeah.
Which is fucking stupid. So Chrome is super old on it. Firefox is super old. I actually have to run Boot Camp on it, which takes up majority of the storage. It's, not really optimized because it's not on Mac. It's just Jesus. And all I wanted to do was literally I do all my work on Office 365 in college. So all my software is on the cloud. To be able to access that, I need a new browser. So I have to run a Windows instance.
You have to run a Windows 10 instance on a 32-bit system.
Not even a Windows 10 instance. I have to run a Windows 7 instance because drivers don't work on Windows 10. Yeah. Do you know what's incredible about that? This is all to segue to the point that Windows is better and Mac is stupid. Windows 7 still supports the newest version of Chrome. The version I have on that MacBook, 10.7, supports a version of Chrome from 6 years ago.
Because technically, there's still a ton of games on Steam that are still that they're still releasing today, and you can play them on Windows 7.
You know what's stupid is that Steam doesn't even run on the Mac as well. I have to turn to Windows to run Steam.
Well, technically, Steam does run on Mac. It's just that there's not a lot of Mac-supported games to begin with. Because it's like...
Because why would you run a game on Mac?
If we're talking about for workflow and ease of use, Macs blow Windows out of the water, by far. It's not even a competition. Once you become at least semi-computer literate, it doesn't even make sense anymore to buy a MacBook.
True. If I'm getting too frustrated with Windows and I just want to sit down and just do whatever work, all I have to do if I want to use a Mac, switch my brain off. It's so fucking easy to use. Like, so many intuitive like shortcuts and features and stuff that I use on a Mac. That's like, holy fuck. You'd think why Windows hasn't implemented any of this, and it's kind of shocking, really.
It's actually because of how Mac automates the software. So this is a entire legal reason why Microsoft and Windows aren't allowed to do all those shortcuts. Because of how Apple's automated all the things, so everything connects with each other pathetically easily. Like, if everything's connected once, it's staying connected forever. Even if it breaks, it's connected. But because of how all of its technology is all made from the same shit, it also all follows the same programming, which they've, like, took the rights of. They've taken rights of full fucking copyrighted software just so other applications, like anything Sony wants to do, anything Dell or Windows wants to do. I'm pretty sure, what's the other one? It's Mac, Linux, there we go. Like, I'm pretty sure only Linux can do something even remotely similar, but you're gonna have to buy some, like, fucking Asian company phone to, like, run it smoothly, and not, like, a Samsung or anything like that.
It kind of sucks as well with the ecosystem of Apple, because a lot of the stuff in the ecosystem is awesome. The way it all works together, all kind of syncs together perfectly. Like stuff like AirDrop, for example, works brilliantly because there's chips in iPhones that allow for AirDrop to happen. But what's stupid is that I wish this was on Android. And it is on Android, but it's segmented into multitude of different other like styles of this quote unquote AirDrop, because there's not a standard. But there is a standard with Apple, but there's not a standard with Android. That's why people prefer Apple, because they would rather have the standard stuff that works, is optimized for all platforms, you know. It works
like
seamlessly.
My motherboard, like the motherboard in my PC, that's Asus. My chip is AMD. My RAM is Patriot. My graphics card is NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And then in my laptop, my motherboard is Lenovo. My chip is Intel. So it's just like there's no kind of standard for everything. So that's the reason why, especially, they can't really make something super compatible and easy.
It's cool to have this openness, you know, the openness of x86, to have the ability to create as many different variants of CPU as much as you want. But damn, bro, like just the simplicity and seamlessness of Apple, like, holy fuck, you can get shit done, right? Windows, you have to do a bit of configuration. Everything. You have to do a bit of configuration. Edit that out. You have to do a bit of configuration to get shit done in Windows. With Apple, it's already there. It's all done for you.
I will say though, with like, especially when I first got my PC, and Kirby remembers this, I had a lot of trouble trying to set up my audio interface for a little bit. I'm still not even exactly sure what the fuck was wrong, but it's like, even now, it's like, once you have it all set up and everything, it just feels like I'm able to do a lot more than I'm able to do on a MacBook. Because it's like, once you set it up to how you personally want it, and you know your little shortcuts, it's just like, now it just feels more seamless than, you know, Apple, because there's also other stuff you can run on Windows to make life a little bit easier that you can't run on Mac. And I understand why they don't run them on Mac, because of the whole, like, you know, making sure people don't get themselves viruses, but at the same time, if you're downloading something and you don't know what it is, don't download it.
That is
true, yeah.
You download a virus, it is always 100% your fault. Even like tech illiterate people can understand what a virus looks like, because they've made themselves so abundantly clear now.
I see people at my job that would not understand that.
Yeah.
I literally had a supervisor.
My granddad.
I had an assistant manager literally say over the mic, and she's like in her 30s or 40s. She goes, "This computer's been on the update screen for so long, I'm just going to turn it off." Keep in mind, on Windows, it literally says, "Please do not turn off this computer during updates." It says it in big white letters. And me and one of my other coworkers just looked at each other and started laughing. Because we're just like, there is no way. There is no way in hell.
She just
ignored said that and ignored what the computer was telling her.
She ignored the big, thick white text it tells you to fucking listen to.
There's literally a tech standing probably 20 feet to her left or right, depending on which way she was standing.
Yeah, this is why IT is one of those nightmare jobs. It's because you have people with, good intentions, but it's very stupid fucking, like, problems. Like,
But
holy shit.
It was that, and it's another reason why I kind of just why I don't really want another tech sales job anymore, and that I'm just kind of sticking to the department they put me in now, is because it's just become very apparent to me that it's not even about, like, having technical know-how in a way, because it's like, it's more about how well can you sell said thing, not about how much do you actually know about said thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember there's some kind of like tech support thing they're doing. I think they needed to swap out the drives in this computer, right? And I don't have too much experience. Like, obviously with my PC now and everything, I have a lot more experience now with like swapping out drives or anything or whatever. But when it comes to like laptops, especially ones with like with DVD drives, I don't have a lot of experience tearing those open. So It's like, but I'm still just an associate, minimum wage or whatever. Tell me why the tech supervisor doesn't know how to open up a computer.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. The tech supervisor does not know how to open a computer to swap out the drives. It's like it boggles me because now it doesn't even feel, because like I want to pursue something in IT as like a thing, in case streaming doesn't work out. I don't want to think that way, but I got to be realistic.
Yeah.
It's like I still want to go into something in IT, but I don't want to be the sales rep because it doesn't feel like, because whenever I was selling, I was taking it from the approach of, I want to make sure this person understands what they're buying, they understand what they're paying for, and that they're going to be able to use this. But it's like, between
you can only do it for so long.
You can only do it for so long before it's either that your numbers start falling because you're not taking it as a salesman approach, or you're just not hitting the quota that they want you to hit. Because that's the only reason I got moved from the tech department anyways, was because my numbers weren't where they wanted it to be. And it's like, what sucks too is that and I can guarantee you probably most retail stores do this, and this is why I do most of my shopping online now anyways, is that it's like you're basically pressured into, well, if you already have the mind of a salesman, you're not pressured into it. But if you don't have that mindset of a salesman, then you're pressured into basically sometimes lying to customers entirely about something if they aren't willing to buy like add-ons, because retail stores have very small margins on top of like whatever they sell, so they make all their money in like add-ons, like additional services or whatever the fuck. So it's like, I've been told to basically tell customers, oh, we don't have this laptop or we don't have this chair, because they're not willing to buy any like warranties on top of it or like some kind of tech help or some dumb shit on top of it. Literally, there's an $1,000 laptop you think you'd want to sell because you're not gonna be having a lot of people coming in for that. They told me not to tell the customer that it wasn't there, and I said to them straight to I said to my supervisor's face that day, I was like, I'm not gonna go over there and tell her that this $1,000 laptop isn't here. You can go tell her that, because it's like,
I mean, you practically just lying to the customer. It's weird.
Not even practically. You're literally lying to the customer's face. And she knew he was bullshitting, because it's like you don't have the $1,000 laptop. Like, are you trying not to make the sale or whatever? And like, and I just kind of removed myself from the situation entirely because it was no longer my problem anymore. But it was just like, that's why I just don't want to do tech sales anymore, because it's just like, it doesn't feel like I'm actually doing something to help people with tech. It's, how can I screw you over in some type of way? And it may not even screw them over, but like, how can I overcharge you on something that you really don't need?
Yeah.
Like buying the warranty for a monitor, the fuck? If it dies, it dies. Like, you get your money back. By the time that thing dies, you should have more than enough money to buy another monitor. That's gonna be.
That's kind of like the common thing in that type of like job,
Yeah.
place. There's this video I watched about this dude who was talking about like printer ink scams and how little it costs to make printer ink, and he was talking about the support job he was working, and he basically stated that his whole job was to take calls and sell people products over the phone, and he basically had to also lump on an extra warranty. He basically said, "Oh, do you want this extra warranty?" It was basically his whole job was coaxing people into spending more money. And,
That's the scummy part about it. Like,
yeah,
like I know, like another thing they really wanted us, because like there's a lot of things that would like have the warranty show up on them, like mice, headphones, etc., etc. But it's like they're like, you gotta chase the warranty on everything. But it's like, this is a $20 Logitech mouse. If they're buying a $20 Logitech mouse, they know this shit's gonna break, and they're gonna come back to just buy a new one. They don't care about spending an extra $5 to $10 on top of what they're spending for the mouse to buy it. Maybe like the only thing I see realistically, at least through how my company does it, is if you get the warranty on top of whatever, if anything happens to the product within your warranty plan, you'll get whatever you paid for the item back. And the only item I see really worth that is printers, because of how shittily they're made.
Yeah, and how
like
especially
the HPs. It's like
I have a HP computer in my the spare shit room, which is literally right next to my bed. It's basically my wardrobe because it has everyone's shoes in there.
It's a piece of shit. HPs nowadays are a piece of shit. Like, it's annoying because they're actually some of the best like printers for like just doing some like casual photo printing or whatever, or like color printing. But their reliability is so bad.
They're inconsistent as shit.
Yeah. Do you know what sucks about printers is that their designs are break. They're designed to malfunction.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of things now have planned obsolescence now.
Apple,
but printers were planned they were the
$1 trillion company.
$1 trillion. Yeah.
Google Pixel 4.
Printers did that breaking down bullshit before it was cool. Like that's the most annoying part about it.
Yeah.
They basically marketed a very vulnerable, like, people really need printers basically in the business space. Like, they really, really need printers. A lot of printers, in fact. So to get people to pretty much, spend a fuck ton on printers to make I don't think the printers are expensive. Printers are usually cheap.
No, it's the ink that's always... The ink is always more expensive than the printer itself.
Like, there's some printers, like, because... Like, especially when I was a tech, the whole thing was you have to build up the basket. So you have to, like, constantly be upselling. And so it's like... And some of the things you would say weren't actually lies, like how bad HP's customer support is.
It was a misconstrued truth.
Or the fact that you do need to buy ink technically on top of it. Well, you don't have to buy it at that moment, but you only get a calibration cartridge with the printers.
Yeah.
And, like, that's true, too. But it's, like... It always like felt kind of scummy knowing that you're gonna tell someone, hey, so today you're gonna need to pay $200 for this printer, another $100 for the ink cartridges, and then probably another $40 to $50 just to get a warranty plan. Because HP's customer service does suck. It's actually terrible. But it's like at the same time, it's like you're making someone pay so much for something they could probably find cheaper on Amazon.
Do you want to hear a story about my friend and his printers? And printers are plural. Printers are plural for a reason.
I heard plural and I was like, uh-oh.
So, he found out that it was just objectively cheaper to outright buy a new printer with a whole new set of ink than to buy the ink itself.
Pretty much.
So, for what he did, every single month, he'd throw out his old printer and buy a new one. Like, he'd sell his old printer.
That, like...
Yeah, he'd sell his old printer for like 50 quid. He'd buy a new one for like 100 or so. Because printers with the ink. He'd keep the paper from the old one, switch it out on the new one, and he'd do that every month for 4 years. And
how much was he spending on printers that he was able to do that?
Well, the printer was like £100. And when you're earning $1,000 a month you're in a uni dorm, so everything's already kind of paid for itself anyway.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really go out the party and all that, so it's not like he's spending a fuck ton on drinks, drugs, clothes to go out partying.
Yeah.
So it was cheap as shit for him to just buy a whole new fucking printer.
I mean, if you're buying if you're buying like one of the shitbox printers every month, then yeah, that's definitely a lot more cost effective.
No, he did. It's like because printers nowadays, it's not £100 for the printer and the ink. It's just £100 for the printer. He was getting the like £90 to £110 printers with ink. So it'd be like a £50 printer, £50 ink. Bam, it's off. Approximately. Anyway. God knows the company name he was getting it from, though. Because I want to know if I go fucking uni. Because I want to do that shit. Or at the very least, I'm hoping universities finally fucking learn what an external hard drive is so they can keep information on the fucking students so they don't lose diplomas and everything else. Because that's been happening a lot recently. Because of, like, all the COVID situation and shit. Like, the total collapse of, like, fucking the paper market. And, like, use of printers. Because you're not allowed to ship it to each other. Because no one's allowed to do it. So, like, multiple universities had lost a fuck ton of information on a lot of fucking hundreds of their students.
Wow.
Or because they couldn't be asked to save it in an external, like, hard drive. That
sounds
you could
like a British problem.
No, this is America, dude.
I know, I just wanted to fuck around, but yeah, it's really annoying. It's like I don't know. It's more obnoxious when you hear about like tech companies getting hacked, and it's like, oh, how'd they get hacked? It's like, oh, because someone had their password named password. It's like, you did not let someone come work at this multi-billion-dollar tech company
and have the password
and allow them to have the password that is such child's play, or they leave a backdoor that's so obvious that it's like just left. And I understand mistakes happen, right? I understand that completely, but it's like at the same time, do you remember when that like website hosting service got like hacked or went down, and like half of the internet died?
Yes.
More than like half of the internet was all using that web hosting service.
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and WhatsApp all died fucking immediately. Yeah. The only thing that was up was YouTube, Twitter, and Netflix. Oh, and fuck, what's the other one? Telegram. There we go.
Yeah, kind of makes you think how like vulnerable a lot of these services can be.
Well, it just reminds me of the McDonald's meme, and where it's like, yeah, the Bluetooth password for the fucking screen is 12345678910, or it's 9876543321. It's literally just that, but it's actually a fucking thing for like massive, like NordVPN. They've been hacked so many times now that it's borderline ridiculous.
Like these services, the services that you rely on to, like, for example, NordVPN, like you said, you rely on for VPN shit. Imagine if they have, say, for example, if it's, say, for example, they didn't stay kind of like 100% on their policy and they did keep a bit of data on you. That's data that's now hackers That's the shit they have now. You know.
Like, I mean, right now I have Norton.
Norton, the bear
Yeah,
one.
because it's just one I've known since I was a kid, and I haven't, to my knowledge, heard of any big breaches at Norton. That, and there's just also a massive sale on Norton. What was it called? 360 for gamers, where you get like a year subscription for $20. And I was like, well, I'll grab like 2 of those.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's supposed to, you know, have a antivirus, a VPN, cloud backup, a password manager.
Okay, I'm
and it's like I'm not really, no, I'm not depending on it. If that's what you think.
No,
definitely not.
I'm just saying, every time I have seen antivirus protection software, I always think, what the fuck is that there for?
Right.
Windows has a.
I only use it really to have the VPN just in case.
Actually, I was about to say, Josh. I thought it was going to be controversial for me to say, but I think like the only antivirus you really need is
the one in your computer.
Defender.
Yeah,
Microsoft fucking antivirus and your common sense.
Yes, literally.
Really, only like realistically, you only need Windows Defender. If you have 2 brain cells, you should be just fine with Windows Defender. The only reason I even got Norton was because of the fact it came with a VPN, and that's about it.
Yeah,
the rest is just filler.
Less of a shit about the so-called device security or the password manager, because the minute you put your password in there, you think it's only on your system. No, this is in their servers. So if they get hacked, your shit's
fucked.
not found out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I barely even save passwords in my browser.
Nah, dude.
Most of the time, like...
Here's how I've saved my passwords. I have my passwords in 3 completely different places. I have one on my Google Excel, because who the fuck's going to check Google Excel? Especially for, like, a teenage kid who doesn't go on it. I have it on my notepad, on my fucking computer, all my passwords, all my emails to everything. I also have it written down in my fucking book that I use every day.
Yeah. And for VPNs, you could just get Proton, which is free. Like, Proton VPN provides free VPN servers.
Not sponsored, by the way.
No, not sponsored, by the way. Not at all sponsored. Fuck Proton VPN. But it's pretty good for what I need it for.
This shit is free.
I don't need my sponsorship. Fuck you.
I'll return that. I'll return that. Fuck you if you do sponsor this podcast, please, Proton. Pretty please.
Yeah.
This broadcast is brought to you by.
This entire part will just get bleeped out. People will be like, "What the fuck's the silence for?" But yeah, but yeah, no. Every time I had shit bought for me, like I've had laptops bought for me, I've had my old PCs bought for me until I could buy it myself. My stepdad would install it, would like install all the extra shit, like he'd set it up and everything. And it's like, oh, okay, great, I can't access Pornhub, fuck you. But he'd also install like Panda malware, Ariva virus, all that antivirus protection shit, and I'm like, this is fuck. It's like it slows down your computer. That's all a fucking antivirus protection thing does. It wastes space and it fills up your computer with utter shit it does not fucking need, because Windows Defender is good enough as it is. It works fantastically.
Here's the thing. I got my granddad's old Windows XP machine, and my god, is it filled with bloat. Like early 2000s bloat. It is filled with Norton antivirus 2005 or something, and you're like, the fuck? And it's filled with like Avast. It's got all these web security things. It's got, oh my god, it's got all sorts of old security apps and stuff like that, and you know, malware protectors, tons of it.
It's like another thing they also wanted to try and sell, like antivirus on top of the computers.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
I think they have some sort of like contractors or some kind of affiliation with either with McAfee or something, because the only 2 options are McAfee and Norton, And when you're like, if you can get the customer to get a protection plan on top of the computer in case anything happens, usually the option will default to McAfee. So I'm guessing that's some kind of like affiliation. It's like if you buy it through whatever, you just get McAfee. But if you want to decide, I guess, between two, you got Norton or McAfee.
I really don't understand the whole deal with antiviruses, because if hackers wanted to get into your computer, they'll get into your computer regardless of if you have an antivirus or not. Like,
well, the thing is too
they'll
is that
figure
all
it
you
out.
have to do is you just have to scare the computer illiterate enough to, it's like, if something happens, you never know if someone might try to hack into your bank account or whatever, or try to steal your family photos.
I mean, it technically does store a database of viruses and stuff, but
No, listen, I'm telling you right now, unless you give a hacker a reason, they are not going to give a fuck about your family photos.
All right,
they are not going to hack you.
Thank you for saying this.
They are not going to see your birthday photos with little Timmy when he just turned 2. They do not give a shit. If they wanted to hack you, they are hacking you for money.
Mm-hmm.
They're hacking you for money in any valuables you would have on your computer, not your fucking photos. Like if you
decided, put a Bitcoin wallet on your fucking PC, then you might make yourself a target. But if it's just your family photos of that Disney cruise you went on back in '87, they're not gonna give a fuck. Unless it had some hidden position to go, this is where the treasure is, underneath the Mickey Mouse crack house on the Disney boat.
Here's where they're hiding Walt Disney's body on my computer. We have a fucking mile by mile map, centimeter by centimeter location you have to follow. Here's the precise times you need to stop and then keep on walking just in case of traps. It is all on this specific computer. Then finally, then your computer's worth something.
Finally, the recipe for cake mix. Wow. To this old woman's computer.
Damn, I've been looking for this for years. But no, Dylan, you remember in year 10, year 11, where we had that fucking policewoman come in for cyber security and sex ed safety? And the entire time we were all just correcting her, me, you, Lauren, Anthony, Joe, we were all just correcting her, and the teachers were like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. It's you're in your fucking 40s, and you would openly admitted to us that you installed a fucking Chromium. Shut up, we're not dumb enough to fall for this shit.
You admitted you installed Chromium. Two, it's just I don't know. It's really annoying because it's I remember a while ago. I think I was on Discord, really fun, hilariously enough, and I was talking to my friend. I was talking to some friends that I had at the time. I don't think I'm talking to any of them now, but we were talking on Discord. Actually, no, I am. I'm talking to some of them. But anyways, we're talking about. I forgot what we were talking about, but my sister comes in. And all of a sudden, she starts freaking out, losing her shit. She's like, "Oh my goodness, get off that call!" She's younger than me, by the way. She's like, "Oh my goodness, get off that call!" You don't know if they might know where you are. And I just looked at her dead in the face. And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! You don't even know what you're talking about." And then she goes to tell my mom. And my mom, she's starts getting, she's like, "Oh my goodness, how could you talk to people you don't know?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, Mom, these people don't know where I live. Even if they pulled my IP address, there's about 50 more hoops they still have to jump through to even find out where I live. And if they're that set on finding me through Discord, then I wouldn't be talking to them. And it just kind of blew my mind because it's in the past 2-3 years, my sister had been watching me talk to people on Xbox Live, people I've never met before. And it's just all of a sudden I'm on Discord just chilling in the dining room, and it's all of a sudden there's now a problem. It's if you don't think I know what I'm doing?
On Xbox, they would have pulled your IP address through Xbox as well.
Guy who watches Ordinary Gamers, knows who doesn't think you think I don't know what I'm doing? Dude, I've been watching Indian men on YouTube telling me what to do for fucking years. I know what I am doing.
That is not a healthy eating schedule, Dylan. You fucking idiot.
Wait, are you eating right now?
No, he posted something in text chat.
Oh, I didn't. Oh Christ!
I forgot since you're technically using OBS. Since you're using OBS, you can't hear it. But yeah, that's not a healthy eating schedule.
Yeah.
What the fuck is what?
I want to describe it for the podcast.
It's basically, think of the worst stoner you can think of imaginable. They roll a joint that lasts them from 8 to 12 p.m.
When
Then
the
for
fuck can I get?
the next 4 hours, they're just chugging an entire 40-pack of 16-ounce water bottles. That apparently it takes them 4 hours to eat Chick-fil-A. And then
Or is that Wendy's?
from 9 till 12 a.m., they're just hitting a bong. That's basically what
With
it
more
is.
water. With more water.
With
I
more water.
I said bong because, it was water and weed.
And that's a whole bunch of weed, too.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. It's a lot of weed.
And that's
An
3 hours
unhealthy
burning
amount.
through that.
Well, I know
3
weed
hours.
lasts a while, but shit.
This dude's trying to be gone for the century.
this dude wants to say hi to Snoop real quick. He's like,
You will
yo,
never
Biggie?
be on Snoop's level.
Biggie, is that
Better
you,
than-
dog? What the fuck you doing here?
Better than Snoop, you'll be seeing Tupac. Goddamn. Fucking hell.
So my best friend, I told her that we're doing a podcast, and she wanted me to ask sharks and giraffe costumes or giraffe and shark costume.
Sharks and giraffe costumes. Because I think that just seeing a giraffe in the water would scare the ever-living shit out of any living creature in there.
You know what? I'll have to agree with you on that one. I'll have to agree with you on that one. It's like, yo, what the fuck is that?
Yo, what's
Like,
this
could you imagine
bitch?
a
What the
lion
fuck?
at the watering hole, and it's like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Why is a giant in the water? Why is the giant in the water?
No, like a school of swordfish start coming up and it's like, yeah, you see this little school of fishes? This is gonna be fucking delicious. And usually, with a school of swordfish, there'd be hammerhead sharks, there'd be bull sharks and all this. Imagine seeing a fucking great white in a giraffe costume. Like, you don't know what's going on with this motherfucker. He orange and black, he's sticking out like a sore thumb. Every fish is going towards him because he's bright as shit, and every fish likes to
That's
see the
gonna be
light
like-
somewhat.
They'd be like, hey, yo, what the fuck is... It's instant death, okay.
Oh, shit.
They're thinking the neck is like the Grim Reaper's sickle or some shit. They thinking
About to see a faster slaughter than in the beginning of Finding Nemo.
yeah, yikes.
Spoilers for those who haven't watched that movie.
Oh fuck off!
20
Everyone's
years
seen
old.
Finding Nemo.
Okay. No, now I'm gonna look it up. Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo came out in 2003. If we just spoiled a movie that's been out for 19 years for you, grow the fuck up.
What about that? I think the only guy who can't complain about spoilers is the that dude who tried to copyright Disney for Finding Nemo because they copied his film.
Really? That happened.
Really?
Okay, I'm gonna go through the Wikipedia to find this. Hold on.
Yeah, turns out he lied massively. He didn't work. He wasn't even on the production team. Wasn't on the storyboarding team. His movie was not only like suggested to come out 4 months after the movie came out, but also it released 6 years later. So he just lost the court case so fucking fast.
Yeah.
But that's happened a lot
just
with
found
fucking
it.
Disney.
Back in 2003, a French children's author has sued Walt Disney Pictures and Pixar Animation Studios, claiming the cartoon fish they catapulted to fame, and the worldwide blockbuster Finding Nemo was plagiarized from his 1995 creation. Yeah, it's been a while since I took French. Disney
never took French.
Blah, blah, blah. Registering the screenplay, blah, blah, blah. Could be
Even-
coincidental.
Yeah. It basically just summed down to he owes Disney a fuck ton of money because he lied about the entire thing and wasted a lot of resources on Disney's side.
Hmm.
Well, man, I'm gonna shut my dog
If it's
up.
in
It keeps barking.
1995, I think I remember if it's a 3D animation. I think I remember seeing that actually. but I'm not sure if it's the one I'm thinking about.
This is the thing, right? And it's somewhat like, I don't want to say it's the same thing when it comes to music, but it somewhat is in a way. Whenever some band or like artist or producer goes, "Oh hey, they used my song and it's the exact same," and it's from my song that I released like 8 years ago, and they just released it now, and I'm kind of sitting here like, and it's usually always a song that's been out for like 4 or 5 years at this point,
Right.
and it's just like, one, what took you so long to find the song? Like, I understand if it's not in your genre of music, then you're not gonna hear it. But it's like, at the same time, if you're in the music world, you're gonna know a few different genres, know a few different people maybe in each genre. Quite possibly. So how does that just fly under your radar for 4 to 5 years?
Yeah. Why do
Like,
you all of a sudden suddenly
why
get around to?
I stole my entire song? And it's like, and in a lot of cases, yes, it sounds very similar, but at the same time, we're getting to the point where it's like, it feels like as if people are trying to claim the melodies to certain things, because there's only but so many fucking times you can rewrite a melody, put it up an octave, put it down an octave, change it around, change how the fills are, blah blah blah, change the time signature.
Didn't Ariana Grande get sued, or was almost getting sued because she copied a beat, even though everybody in the fucking rap industry should have started suing each other if that was the fucking case?
Here's the thing: if the pop industry got sued by the person who made all of those beats,
the
whole industry would be fucked.
Yeah, have you seen the YouTube video of?
There's only two people that make the pop industry at this point.
Yeah, have you seen the YouTube video of the guy who reveals the pop industry has been using the same key in every fucking song that's been released?
That doesn't surprise me, because it's like, when you listen to a lot of pop music, and I guess you could say this is somewhat the same for every genre, they're gonna stick to what's kind of made that genre what it is. But at the same time, the problem the pop industry has is that it's more about quantity over quality.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At least in my opinion, because it's like,
there we go. The video's called "Why Pop Music is Obsessed with This One Note." It's an 8-minute video, and he just
I think for a lot of the artists I listen to now, I still listen to rap now. But
yeah,
back when I was in middle school and everything, I got really into dubstep and EDM and stuff like that. And these are artists that are they're mainly dropping EPs, so when they drop an album, this is a big fucking deal. This is something they've been working towards for years at this point. But then there's rappers and pop artists that have 15 fucking albums out. And whenever they're just my next project's an album, work on my next album. But these dubstep and EDM artists, they have really almost no choice to kind of stick with EPs, because it's they have to, keep their name in the scene long enough to, people still recognize them. Still regularly release music every couple weeks or few months or whatever, instead of taking a year or 2-3 years to drop an album. If Playboi Carti was an EDM producer or dubstep producer, no one would give a fuck about him, at least in my opinion anyways, for how long he took to release. What was it, Whole Lotta Red was his most recent one?
Yeah. It took 4 years to release that, didn't it?
Yeah, the dude took 3 or 4 years, constantly delaying it, would not give any updates onto what's going on unless it was to delay it again. And when it dropped, everyone hated it. So it's
everyone hated it, and then it all of a sudden became that 50-50 album, in where everyone's suspecting it's going to be the new noise of hip-hop for a little bit. They're suspecting what this album's going to do is what happened with Drake's what's it called? It's not even his album.
Loverboy?
No, it's it's his only good album. I'm forgetting his fucking name. Um, 1 minute. I can just find it.
Which
But
one?
It came
Was
up
there like
before Scorpion.
The one that started from the bottom was on? Was it the one with his face like cartoon?
No.
Oh.
It's one where it's just pure words. If you're reading this, it's too late. Everyone's suspecting it's going to be that for a bit. Or Kanye's My Dark Twisted Beautiful Fantasy. In where it's like, everyone didn't like it when they came out. And then, like, the next year, it's going to be the whole new fucking noise of hip-hop. For the next...
you realize how beautifully it's made and everything.
Yeah. Like, My Dark Twisted Beautiful Fantasy. Or, like, 808s and Heartbreaks from Kanye. What a shock, he's back in his fucking talk again. That was where, melodically, he was just at his prime. Like, he was coming out with something new, something innovative. And he accidentally became the next auditorial voice for, like, a decade. And then Drake came out with, if you're reading this, it's too late, with lyrics that are a lot more emotional, kind of. Like, emotionally attached to himself. And that became the new sound for the next decade.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that a lot of people, like, I'm watching a lot of, like, I notice every once in a while there's new songs that come out on Kanye's YouTube channel, and I give them a listen sometimes, and I look in the comment, like, they sound pretty, like, good. I'm not a huge Kanye fan, but they, I can understand why people like them. And then I scroll in the comments, and people are like, "Oh, this is the worst track ever. This is the worst track. Blah blah. Blah, this, and that." This is when they first came out. Then months later, I revisited the tracks, and there's people in the comment section saying this is the best song ever made, and I'm like, "What?" Like a couple months ago, you were saying these songs were trash, and Donda's the worst album he's ever made, and stuff like that. And it,
Like, my thing with the whole, like, when Donda and CLB were first being dropped, I know everyone has their own opinions on it, and
we said ours last time, I think.
I don't remember, but it's like, me personally, I liked both albums. I didn't think, it's like, the way I saw Donda was Kanye trying to make another, like, genre defining album, to release, and like, just kind of like shake up the whole scene. And then Drake's, in my opinion, was more of like a, listen, we're just trying to vibe. This isn't really a album of the century type beat. It's just, everyone vibe. Yeah, a lot of the songs do sound the same, and have a lot of this, like, you could almost mistake some of them. But at the end of the day, I still listen to a lot. I do personally listen to a lot more songs off of CLB than I do off of Donda.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's at the end of the day, it's because Donda's a lot more, like everyone said, a lot more diverse in its track. Like,
Donda's a lot heavier than CLB.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way we can put it. CLB is a lot more relaxed, fuck about type music, and then Donda's like, you're listening to Donda. You need to, like...
I think the only song off of Donda I really listen to on a daily basis is Off the Grid. And it's kind of like the same vibe you're just saying. Like, it's kind of relaxed, more like, chilling with the boys type beat, But then everything else, like a lot of the other stuff, like Hurricane, it's like, this is an experience. This isn't, you sit down and you're vibing with the boys and whatever. This is a story that's being told.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Jail so much. Because Jail, when you first listen to it, again, it's like it's the first actual song on his album. Because there's Donda Chant where it's like, Donda, 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 Donda. Yeah, that shit, that's a fucking annoying. I hate that track.
You nearly got fucking copyright strike for that one.
But yeah, no. I don't know. Whenever Drake and Kanye make their albums, Drake, you have to get through at least halfway through to go, okay, I fuck with this. And you kind of had to do that with Kanye for like a little bit after his whole bling era, or the whole bling era of all of hip hop for a bit. You'd have to do the same thing with Kanye. Donda was like the only album I've listened to other than Ghost Town or Kids See Ghosts, and where it's like jail, it's immediately
that's never happening again.
Bum bum, and it's like it's immediate. You get entranced fucking seconds into the track, and then
we're never
Jay-Z
gonna see Kids See Ghosts again, so that's
which sucks because that is his best album, but it's his and Kid Cudi's best album. But that's not the point.
It's pretty good. But
I'm not sure if it's embarrassing to admit this, but I used to make fun of the song On Sight. I used to be like, "Wow, this sounds like what was it? A transformer taking a shit." But every time I put it on, I'm not kidding. I actually listen to the very end. Like it's weird. I don't know why, but like what the fuck?
Cause it's catchy as shit.
I don't hate it. Like that's weird. I used to fucking just despise it when it was on. I used to laugh at how bad it sounded. But then over time, you just listen and listen. And it's like, what the fuck? I'm like, am I broken or something? Like Jesus.
That happened to me probably like over the past year, where I was like, and I still have a big problem with like mumble rapping in general. But like Travis Scott, like Highest in the Room. I used to think that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's still
now
the
I
dumbest
listen
thing.
to it very often, and it's like there's a bunch of that's something else. Let me see, because I'm kind of looking through my playlist right now.
Same.
But like Travis Scott, I didn't listen to very often. Now I listen to a few of his tracks.
21 Savage, I fucking hated his music. I hated his music.
Yeah,
for
that's
a long
another
time.
one where it's like he really grew on me.
Yeah, him and Lil Baby.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, because Lil Baby was my least favorite artist for like good fucking year.
Little Baby and 21 Savage were definitely two people that I used to clown on all the time, because I was just like, I don't understand why people like this. Like, I don't understand why everyone's listening to this. And then, after a few years of me kind of just like, I guess,
Getting used to
growing
them.
up, it's just like, it's like, okay. When you listen back now and like you're like thinking about it from a different mindset, it's like, okay, I can see why everybody fucks with this. It's still not the rap I grew up with, but you can understand why people like it.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. 21 Savage and Lil Baby make completely different, like, song. They have the same energy, which is very relaxed, like, effort, is how I'd, like, put it.
Yeah.
But Christ, it is a different feel when you think of, like, albums they make. Because one clearly puts more effort in than the other. Like, sorry, Lil Baby, you've made one good album, and it was a collaborative album. A voice over heroes, if no one fucking knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, we knew what you're talking about.
I'm talking about, like, Dylan. And it's just weird.
Yeah.
Because then, like from, like, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, when, like, we said Lil Baby and 21 Savage are gonna fall off, but, like, J. Cole, he's gonna have a consistent voice.
Yeah.
Like, even after he stops, we can guarantee we're gonna still hear his music.
If there's two people that I've been listening to a lot recently is Fivio Foreign and then Jack Harlow.
I can't get into him.
And what, Jack Harlow?
Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable. It's definitely, I feel like as of right now, he's still a bit of an acquired taste for some people. But me personally, I like a lot of his music, especially like a lot of his newer stuff. I really like it. But it's like, there's definitely some songs where I'd be like, okay, this is a little, how do I say
a little
it?
dumb.
Not a little dumb, it's just like, okay, this isn't for me, but I can still understand why people fuck with it. But then it's like, who is it? Fuck. 5004, and I like a lot of his shit. Because, I mean, I found out about him from Off the Grid on Donda. And then I proceeded to go on like a 3-week binge of all of his music.
I did
And
that
most
with
of his songs
Sweatshirts.
are most of his songs are in my playlist now. Him and Pop Smoke, but it's like the thing with Pop Smoke is that he's dead now, and so a lot of the stuff that's being released now, I don't know if he truly wanted that to be out or not.
Same with Juice.
That's always the weird, like the frustrating thing about like, you know, when famous artists die and shit like that, you know these companies end up releasing shit they may or may not have approved of, or you know,
Yeah, it's like they have over 900 songs in their flash drive or whatever. It's like, but how many of these did they actually want to be out there? How many were they truly proud of?
Yeah.
It's
How
like,
many did they actually?
it's like
be
I'm
okay.
happy there's new music, but at the same time, did they truly want this to be out there?
Like there's an album, what was it that Kanye was gonna release, but then cancelled and then shoveled some of the
Christ,
songs onto a
name
new
it.
album.
Oh yeah.
What
I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. That's literally that album.
Oh, is it? Was it the Jesus themed album? What was it called? I can't remember what it was called.
Jesus Walks or some shit.
No, that's the single.
No.
What's the
Jesus is King.
Jesus? Yeah. So there were songs that were for a completely different album before that, before Jesus is King, and then Jesus is King came out and had those songs in that album.
So
but
that's why it
didn't
sounds like
include-
a massive disconjointed mess that doesn't deserve to be a fucking album.
Yeah. So it was basically a bunch of songs from a cancelled album that was moved on to Jesus is King, and yeah, that's why it sounds kind of weird.
People, I think, who are going to get a blown up later on in the careers.
Actually, the reason I mentioned that was because, like, imagine if, say, for example, Kanye died before he got to cancel the album. Imagine if people released that album and it wasn't something Kanye actually wanted to release. Is what I was trying to say. Anyway, what was you saying?
And saying people who I want to blow up later in their careers, like just before their careers end, I want to see blow up, is Conway the Machine. Do you know who that is, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kanye the Machine and Earl Sweatshirt. Because they've both been in the industry for fucking years at this point. And I'm only starting to hear the voices, like, starting to hear the audience finally come out a lot more. Which sucks, because I've been a fan of both of them for like a good couple of years. Earl Sweatshirt especially. Like, I think I've been listening to his music since like 2018. Like, either 2018. No, it was 2013, because Doris came out then. So I've been listening to him for a while. But like, if you're a casual fan of music, like I am, I'm not going to be now, but like if you're a casual guy who likes music, and I bring up Conway the Machine or Earl Sweatshirts, or hell, maybe even Little Baby, most likely not gonna understand who they are or what they are. Because Earl the Machine makes very story-driven albums, like From a King to a God. Like, that's a very story-hefty album. I haven't listened to his new one yet. But that's, from what I've heard, that's also very story-driven, very self-driven. And Earl Sweatshirts makes some very relaxing, very, very depressing music when you start listening to the lyrics.
All right.
If there's like two artists that I really want to pop up, it's like kind of like, or maybe three artists I can say that I really want to like get a lot bigger than they are now. Well, Roddy Ricch is already pretty big, to be honest.
Did you listen to his new album?
I mean, I haven't, no. A lot of people have told me that it's very mid.
It is.
But
it's definitely worth it. Sorry for being social.
I feel like he's still very new on the scene. So he just still needs a little bit more time to like kind of prove himself. Because I'm Sorry for Being Antisocial was a great album. And he still released great music before that. just because you make like one mid album or whatever doesn't make your entire career. Kanye's released bad albums, Drake's released bad albums, Jay-Z's released bad albums.
I mean, hell, even Tyler the Creator released like terrible albums apparently when he started.
His first 4 albums are dog shit.
But it's like, with a little more, if people give him more time to kind of, find his flow, I feel like he'll do great. Jack Harlow, like I said previously, because I think he's doing good. And, again, if people give him more time, I think he'll be able to prove himself. And then lastly is Baby Keem.
God, I'm looking forward to his next album.
Because, like, he definitely already got that head start because he's Kendrick Lamar's cousin. But at the same time, he definitely showed that he can hold his own as a rapper.
Yeah, family ties.
So I'm excited to see how he does. And if there's something that I want to become at least more mainstream in America, is forgot what the fuck they call it. British rap. I can't remember what the fuck they called it.
Oh, drill?
Oh yeah, drill.
Well, I guess because I know there's different.
Oh, do you mean like Stormzy, Dave, and all those?
I don't know a lot of specific ones, but even though I've heard of Stormzy. But it's like there's a lot of British rap that I've heard, or like British rappers that I've heard that I really like, what they're making. So it's just kind of like, if that became more mainstream in America, I feel like that would be really amazing to like, add on to, all these albums and everything. Cause like, there's this song Kid Cudi has on Man on the Moon 3, Show Out, with Skepta and Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke's just kind of like he's kind of there as just like what the fuck they call it? The hook.
Yeah.
But Skepta, he was doing good on it. And I really liked how he sounded. And then like there was a remix of this song. Fucking what's it called?
Energy?
No, it's called Body by Tion Wayne. No. I don't know if you've heard it, but I thought it also sounded pretty good, And they got a bunch of remixes of that song with like tons of artists, especially ones from America. And so it's like, I feel like if it became more mainstream over here, there'd be a lot more, like collaborations with them, at least that I'd be seeing mainstream. And I think it'd be really good.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of British rappers that definitely deserve to be heard in the limelight. Like I just mentioned before, Dave, Stormzy, Skepta definitely needs that. One I think is like kind of making his way into this newest generation of hip hop and rap, like the Denzel Curry generation.
Mm-hmm.
Who, both, by the way, if their next album slap, they're in the Kanye tier for me. Because Denzel hasn't made a bad album, and neither's Jid. But
that is for sure.
Are you telling me DiCaprio 2 and then his other DiCaprio album don't slap? No, you're fucking lying to me. You're telling me anything of Denzel Curry doesn't slap other than that one fucking DC song? No, you're lying to me. He always slaps. And the
DiCaprio 2, like, how many songs I just found myself just not being able to stop listening to? Like that song he had with J. Cole? Bro, that song was so good.
Oh, fucking...
With DiCaprio 2?
Off These.
Yeah, Off These.
Yeah.
These, 151 Rum, Working Out.
Slick Talk.
Oh my god, a lot of these songs are just so good.
Like, not one doesn't bang. Especially 151 Rum. 151. Yeah.
Like I just heard 151 Rum like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, how the fuck did I not know about this? because it's just so
How
good.
did you know? Because Jid and J. Cole work a lot together.
Yeah, I know.
Jid's a co-founder of Dreamville.
I think I didn't really find 151 Rum because whenever I did see JID, it was a lot of through him working with J. Cole, and so I hadn't listened to a lot of his solo stuff. And so I'm finally I'm making my way finally to still finding all these artists that I've seen on other rappers I like listening to, making my way around seeing, okay, what do their individual stuff sound like?
Yeah.
Is it just like a thing where it's like French Montana where it's like it's only good if it's a collab, or
no, Jid has definitely shown himself to carry himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Jid and Denzel Curry are the only ones in this newest generation of rap. I've been very much considering throwing Slow Tie in there, but I don't think he's made enough music yet to confirm it. But Jid and Denzel have been the only rappers I have heard consistently make albums that are just fucking bangers by themselves, and then improve upon other music anytime they join. Anytime I see Denzel Curry and Jid, I get excited because I know the verse is going to fucking slap.
Yeah. Like another person, and with everyone is definitely in touch with their own opinions on him as well. Fucking DaBaby. He had himself in the conversation for, as a very good rapper, as very much up there. If he didn't make a few comments, he was about 2 very poorly worded and choice comments to make away from still being in that conversation. But he felt like he needed to bring up AIDS and Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion thing. But
by the way, Megan Thee Stallion, I'm calling it. She is not making it past 2024.
Do you mean as an artist or
as an artist? I don't.
I was about to say, is this some kind of J Schlatt thing, or it's that's the queen?
No, but I can't see Megan Thee Stallion's music unless this current break that she's on, she is actively making herself more adaptive and with a better flow.
She's definitely been diversifying her portfolio. I know she has a Snap show now. I think it's either a Snap or Instagram show. I can't remember which one. But she has that now that she's doing with a lot of her friends. And then, it's... How do I say it? I think Megan Thee Stallion is probably... Megan Thee Stallion and Doja Cat are the 2 people I can think of where it's they can possibly get... they're the only 2 right now that I truly see, from what I've listened to anyways, that could get to that Nicki Minaj level of stardom,
I think Doja will get there first.
Yeah, Doja will definitely, I think, get there first. Because I think because before I get into what I'm gonna say, I have to add a bit of a context to this. There is nothing wrong with what Megan Thee Stallion makes her music about. Because let's be real, guys have been doing that shit for years, and we don't have much to complain about.
It's just that her flow and her sound is getting a little repetitive.
So, with that out of the way, like you just said, there's only but so many times, though, you can kind of stick to the same subject. And this applies to a male artist. You can only talk about fucking some dude or doing drugs or whatever so many times before it's just okay, what else do you have to talk about? What's gonna solidify your spot as a rapper to be remembered? Because anyone can become a rapper, anyone can become a streamer, anyone can become anything, but it's what you left as your mark that will make people either be the reason that people remember you or forget you.
Yeah.
So it's Doja Cat, I feel she definitely has been doing a lot more to diversify her music and kind of
Doja Cat
try new things.
Doja Cat and Lil Nas X have been the only 2 artists that I've heard recently who have taken full control of the internet. Like, they're using the internet as the advertisement.
See,
fully.
they're doing what Logan and Jake Paul wanted to do from the beginning, except 1,000 times smarter, like 1,000,000,000 times smarter than they did.
Yeah.
Because they chose the "I'm going to be a dickhead" route. Doja Cat and Lil Nas X took the "I'm going to be someone that people can actually, fucking like."
They went with the relatable weird personality traits.
Yeah.
Like Doja, she's a little autistic on the personality side. Let's be fucking honest here.
I want the audience to know that he is autistic.
We established this last time, and I haven't already shown it myself. Like, she's very clearly on that "ooh, I'm super fucking goofy" side of the personality trait. And Lil Nas X is gay, which is not heard of in a rap scene for like massively. It's actually very much looked down upon.
Yep.
and I think that's literally why him and Tyler the Creator are two completely different fucking subjects.
Tyler the Creator's just he's a whole different story.
He's a different mess, but he's a good mess right now.
Yeah.
Like, alright, controversial take. I think
here we go.
Some point soon, if he gets better at his writing, might get better at Kendrick at writing a story, but that's a different conversation.
That's a very controversial topic. Holy shit.
Again, if he
Kirby's out here trying to start a war over the internet.
If he fully embraces
this is how we'll go viral,
aspect,
by the way.
Yeah.
This is how we'll go viral, because Kirby decided to say, yeah, if Tyler the Creator gets better writing, he could be on the tier of Kendrick. So now we're going to be fully attacked, by people that have been listening to Kendrick since, How to Pimp a Butterfly. And then people that listen to Tyler the Creator be like, oh, he can't write a story. He can't write a story, blah, blah, blah. And then, just people from Kendrick's side with the very... I'm black, so I could say it. The stereotypical black woman with, like, the emojis in her Twitter handle or some shit, going like, oh my goodness, how could they say, that... You're probably gonna have to censor this out entirely. But like, it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they would try to, like, say someone could stand up to Kendrick with the whole, like, sis please or whatever shit. But like,
I've not been,
Twitter,
I've not been
fuck I'm talking about. Don't try to fucking say I'm wrong. Fuck you, Twitter. I'm right. But
I've not been fucking wrong though. Hear me out.
This has turned into the Problematic Talk podcast.
I began.
Oh my gosh!
What a fucking episode for Dylan to join on.
Wrong day for me to be a guest. Jesus.
Sorry, don't. Well, but Will just asked me how the podcast is going. Controversial.
Controversial. Very, very controversial.
But no, hear me out. It's in the aspect of how the story is written. I'm not saying he's going to be the the Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar, I think, sounds better.
Yeah.
And he also makes his stories a lot more dynamic.
They're
also a very different fucking feeling artist. I'm saying to the caliber, like, he can be thrown in that same tier of, like, writing wise.
In that conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
From just Flower Boy and Igor alone. Actually, no, not even Flower Boy. From just Igor alone, you can definitely hear his writing skills. In, like, terms of making a story that flows, identifying characters, making a different tune that sounds very, very noticeable and very, very iconic immediately. And with Flower Boy, it's just that, but not as hard a hitting. It's less story and more character. And then Call Me If You Get Lost is basically Tyler the Creator going, I like my old flow. Let me just implement my current writing skills to it, and then I'm gonna go back to my story writing, like how I used to, or how I'm still writing shit.
Like, besides Graduation, I think probably the only album that when I finally, like, kind of, hit a point in my life where I was just like, okay, let me stop being a fucking child and let me stop being a toddler, and, like, actually, give some of these albums a fair listen instead of, just what I heard from the top hits. And I think Graduation and Good Kid, Mad City were are two albums that, just off the top of my head, that I remember listening to from the first song to the last one, and just continuously doing that for like weeks after listening.
Oh no, I did that with Good Kid, Mad City. I did that with that, yeah.
Because Good Kid, Mad City, especially the deluxe version, it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just so amazing to listen to from start to finish. You're just like, because it's literally you're following the story. Like in Graduation, it was kind of like, to me anyways, a very good mix of like different styles and beats, but it all like connected perfectly. And then Good Kid, Mad City was like a story.
Wait, do you mean Section 80? Do you mean Section 80?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Or are you comparing like Kanye with Kendrick?
I'm talking about like comparing listening to Graduation and Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
And so like with Good Kid, Mad City, when you're listening to it, it's like, not only you're hearing the story from like the voicemails and like, whatever was said like at the end of the song, but it was also kind of like throughout the rap itself was kind of also somewhat pushing the story as well. So it was just like, I don't know. It was really, those are two albums that, when I first think about them, it's like, wow, that was fucking amazing. That and like 2014, what was it? 2014 Forest Hills Drive? Yeah. The album from J. Cole.
Oh, yeah.
That, and then the Off Season, amazing.
I'm very 50-50 with the Off Season.
Off Season, I liked a lot of the songs.
Off Season, I have to treat it like Drake music, in where if I turn my brain off, forget what the lyrics are saying for a minute, then yes, it's a fantastic album to listen to. But if I turn on my brain, it's kind of his worst album, but it's kind of not.
There's another album that depending on how I'm listening to it, kind of like you're just saying, that'll depend on how I look at it. Revenge of the Dreamers 3. If I'm trying to if I'm trying to, be like, have like trying to vibe with the boys and everything, then I'm only gonna listen to a couple of songs and not really want to listen to the rest. But if I'm just chilling and I listen to the whole album, this shit's a masterpiece. It's just like it's such a night and day difference depending on how you're listening to it.
Yeah,
that's the great thing about music, honestly, though, and sometimes movies and TV shows too, where it's just like, depending on how you're viewing it, it can completely change your angle of what it means to you and why is it that people like this so much. And it's like, oh, if you listen to it this way or you watch it in this mindset, it's like, wow, this is fucking amazing. But if you watch it and maybe watch or listen to what you're used to, that's not really the way the album's supposed to be enjoyed, then it's like, it's all right. Because everything's subjective, especially when it comes to comedy. It's like there's only but so many things like I could make jokes about, or try to get the funny ha-has on stream or whatever. But it's like, it's all about what your sense of humor is, if you find it funny or not, if you find Destiny interesting or not. Everything is subjective to it.
If you find racism funny, Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred.
Context. Alfred donated on James the stream saying the N-word. Hold on.
Oh yeah, he also left a clip, by the way, of my reaction afterwards, because he wasn't quick enough to get the actual clip where he said it.
You can adjust the
safe
clips.
To say, one, whenever you're editing this, you can now put that clip in because it's on my Twitch.
Yeah,
and two,
let's say, yeah.
What was I gonna say? And two, I now have blacklisted words that I put through stream elements, so this doesn't happen again. Hopefully,
you've only just done that.
Okay, this is the reason why, right?
Okay.
I'm very used to there only being maybe 2 or 3 people that ever watch my streams for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then the viewership drops back down to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really used to getting donations, so I kind of just keep pushing it off. I'll be like, yeah, I'll just do it later. And whenever I do get donations, it's usually Brandon, and he doesn't say anything stupid. So again, I don't really think anything of it, and I just forget about it. Until last night, where I realized, okay, I need to do this now before he does this again, or someone else does. Because technically, it was just an AI bot, it was just a voice-generated text-to-speech saying it, but at the same time, I can still get banned for it, even though I'm black. And, if someone has to fucking say, well, what if he isn't? I have my face cam on in almost all of my streams, eat my ass. But it's like, even if it was a text-to-speech bot, at the end of the day, that's not really something I want to condone for my streams. To just kind of say that through donations.
So anybody could say anything they want.
Exactly.
For a little bit of money.
1 minute.
Pretty much.
I'll be back. You keep talking. The dogs won't shut up.
But yeah, it's like, because as of right now, it's just set to, however much people donate, it'll get no matter the amount, it's going to say the text-to-speech message. And I don't get enough donations to put like a limit on it. Say like, oh, you need to donate $5 to $10 or whatever to, get a text-to-speech thing. So it doesn't make much sense to do it. So I'll just leave it there like it is now, for now.
Right.
But it's like at the same time, it's like anyone could say anything. So I'm going to have to, at some point, actually blacklist a ton of words. And it feels weird doing it because when I did it yesterday, I just had like a weird moment where it's just like, other streamers have to do this. Like, physically type out each of these words. And it's like, I'm black, so me typing it, I'm used to it. But it's like, how would like, a white creator that thinks very negatively of the word, they don't want, they don't say it, they don't want anyone else saying it, but they have to type it out.
Yeah,
to, it's blacklist it.
I mean, it's kind of par for the course, really. You just kind of do it without really thinking about it. Just fill out a whole list of the worst words imaginable.
Yeah, it's just like when you think of some of the things, like, because I'm still thinking of a few now, but it's like when you sit down and think about it, you're just like, fucking hell, like, I have to type all of these words out just so no one else will ever again. Or like if they do, it'll be censored.
Here's the thing.
So
I always think,
I always think
I always think the deterrence, like the ban word deterrence, almost kind of in a way encourages people to find creative ways
that's the thing too,
mitigating
right?
It. Yeah.
Because it's like I was thinking about it too while I was typing it, because like I wrote it because even though I know I can say the soft A on stream, that's me, that's my other black friend, and whoever else happens to be black on my stream, but I can't allow that really in donations. So it's like I'm typing out hard R, soft A, and then I was like, wait, what are other ways people could say this? Yeah. But there's only been so many times you can really make a workaround until someone else, like, it's kind of like with games where it's like you patch one cheat, they're gonna find a workaround around it to do the same thing again. So it's just like GTA is a perfect fucking example of that, even though they don't care. But it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of weird because it's like, it's weird that you have to kind of type it out, but at the same time, it's like, what if you were a streamer that didn't particularly care what people put in donations? That's not the best way to do it, but, it would kind of deter people in the same way, where it's just like, well, if he doesn't care if you say it, then what's the point of saying it?
Yeah, exactly. If just, that's kind of the problem with a lot of people who...
But it's playing with fire.
Yeah.
It's like, now you're leaving them that option to do it. So it's like you have to almost hope they wouldn't. Because once people find out you censor something, they're gonna want to say it more to figure out, okay, what are the workarounds to it?
Yeah, I think if you enable the behavior of like them saying it, like, oh yeah, you can say it as many times as you want, I don't care. If you kind of enable it instead of just ignoring it point blank, then obviously they're just gonna do it more and more and more, because it's like, oh my god, my favorite streamer is telling me to do it, and not only am I doing it, I get them to respond to me, and that's it's a really bad negative effect that yeah. That actually got a lot of streamers like for example Ice Poseidon. They got very comfy with their viewers just saying absolutely abhorrent shit. Just random shit, just random abhorrent shit, any shock value type shit. And he was totally A-okay with it. And Twitch didn't do anything because, he was a big motherfucker. He raked in a lot of money, so um yeah, he didn't do anything about it, and he ended up, because he kept enabling and enabling it, building up an incredibly toxic base to the point where the fan base consumed him, literally engulfed him, and shat him back out. Like it's incredible.
Yeah,
You can't win. You just literally either have to ignore it, or just end up doing what you're doing, having to ban certain words and hope they don't find workarounds.
that's the thing though. Everyone's gonna find a workaround, something you haven't seen or heard before, and it's kind of fucked because it's like, in one way, it's like, wow, now I have to ban this word, but then sometimes it's also genuinely impressive in a way because it's just like, that is the dumbest but possibly one of the funniest workarounds I've ever seen in my life. And then you're just like, wow, that's interesting. But it's like at the same time, it's like you kind of have to suppress yourself from being impressed by it, because if it's like if
you're impressed once, you're gonna get impressed again. That's how they see it.
Yeah, it's like, so you can't show that it impressed you because it's like, wow, you found a workaround for the N word, filter.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Even that small bit of appreciation, like, wow, that's actually kind of genius, will just enable them to find even more creative ways to.
Exactly. Even more creative, even more derogative. It's just like, it just keeps going down.
Yeah.
But then it's also gets in the problem where it's like, well, this is mainly an American thing, but freedom of speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every once in a while on Twitter, I'll get some kind of notifications like, oh, maybe this tweet might interest you. And every once in a while, I'll look at it and be like, okay, maybe this tweet did interest me or it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times, especially in the Destiny community, people are getting away with making some really abhorrent names, like absolutely degenerative names, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the one that I can remember off the top of my head right now, there was one that was called Gas the Jews. Someone somehow or thought it was funny, to have a clan name called Gas the Jews. Now, besides the fact that's fucked up on so many levels,
Right.
and that someone was like, yeah, this is okay. A lot of the people were saying, Bungie, how could you let this happen? Why'd you let them exist for so long? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
what can they do?
Few things, there's a few things that people aren't taking into account. It's like, one, like with Witch Queen alone, there was over 1 million pre-orders. Like, that statistic alone should tell you how much they'll be able to actually regulate clan names. Something that are such a small part of the game to begin with, because clans have next to like no like actual gain to you in the game, except for like maybe when you're leveling you might get higher powered gear. But other than that, it doesn't give you much of anything. And it's just kind of, but then it's kind of like, the words being used aren't slurs, aren't curse words.
Yeah.
It's just normal everyday words. Like Jews is another way. It's not the best way, but it's a way some people will describe Jewish people.
Yeah.
The is a regular word. Gas is a regular word. You could use, but it's like at the same time, yes, the way they constructed it should have put off some kind of flag or whatever, but at the same time, if you flagged everything that said gas or
Exactly.
Jews,
I was
then
about to
that's
say,
another problem.
you'll have
Because
the crossing the streams problem where if you had the word gas in another word, then that whole team's going to be banned. You'd be like, what the fuck?
like you could have a clan literally called gas station, and they'd end up getting banned. It's like, oh, why'd you get banned? Because your name had gas in it. It's like, the fuck? And then if someone had well, there's no real way to say this. That sounds like it would be really appropriate. Well, let's say for example, no, that's even worse. Which one will not get us canceled immediately? You know what, Kirby could just censor it. So let's say let's just say that for example, there's one called.
Thanks for giving me more work.
Listen, it's better this than
editing this almost 2-hour-long episode isn't hard enough as it is.
Listen, okay, I'll try to think. I can't think of one of how to say. There's no good way, positive way to put the word Jew or Jews in a sentence that I can think of as a clan name. At least not for me. I don't know if any Jewish people might have some suggestions. I don't know. But
hey, Jews, tell us some clan suggestion names.
Yeah, email us at clan suggestions at NerdTalk.
Clan suggestion.
Oh my Christ.
Anyways, yeah, it's just like you were saying, it crosses that problem where it's like, what do you do? Because it's like there's nothing you really can do. And there's a bunch of people in the comments that are like, oh, they're an American-based company, so freedom of speech. It's like, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but that doesn't mean we have to like what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's
saying
like
saying this for a long fucking time. Like people get this so wrong with freedom of speech.
It's like, yes, you're free to say whatever you say.
Like someone in my college,
but that doesn't mean that people have to be okay with it.
Yeah.
No,
just because you can say whatever you want doesn't mean people have to be okay with it.
Like
you can't say whatever you want in Russia. You can't say whatever you want in China, and you see what happens to them. Just if they even poke fun at the leader. We could make fun of our presidents or prime ministers or whatever as much as we fucking wanted, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it.
Like in public, I will defend your right to not get arrested for what you say, but will I support you? No. Like if you say something abhorrent, I will do everything in my power to not get you arrested for saying shit like that. But I will never ever support you or respect you in any way for saying shit that either I don't like or a lot of people don't like. If it's something horrible or abhorrent.
Dylan. Hello? Guys?
Yes, yeah. Hello?
Okay. Okay, never mind, that's my one. Anyway, Dylan, as the other white man in the call who believes in freedom of speech. No, listen to what I'm gonna say. How many times have we you by yourself have said to someone, "Oh no, I'm for freedom of speech," and someone's called you racist because of it?
I don't know how many times that's happened.
I can say I have bare minimum 10 times happened to me. Yeah.
My problem with freedom of speech, right, is that as the American in the call, and this is definitely gonna get we're about to go viral for all of the wrong reasons today. But it's like when it comes to freedom of speech, right? What really bothers me, and it's a lot of things, it's something that I see in America a lot. And it's not and I don't want anyone to try and say, oh, it's just this one side, or it's everyone. It's a lot of people, it's both sides. Both sides are guilty of it. Where it's like they're like, oh, I have freedom of speech, so I can say this or that. And it's like, you can say this thing. You can say that slur. But that doesn't mean we have to accept you saying it. That doesn't mean we have to be okay with you saying it.
Just because you can say it without getting arrested doesn't mean you can say it without getting a fucking punch to the jaw.
It's like, it's kind of like whenever people go like, well, why can't I say the N-word? White people made the word. And it's like, okay. So instead of me going on about a rant and having to go through history or whatever to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, instead of you trying to fight, because it's like, whenever you like see interviews of like, rappers or like some other black people, when they talk about saying nigga, it's kind of like, it's about, it's turning a word that was first used as a symbol of hatred and, being derogatory into a word of bit like brotherhood and sisterhood and everything for like black people and stuff. And it's like, yeah, like, I'm not gonna say what I was about to say because that will definitely start a war. But
we've already got enough wars as it is.
Exactly. We definitely got enough Twitter shit that we're gonna have to deal with. But it's like, yes, by technicality, by the law, you can say it. You can say whatever the fuck you truly want to say. But I just want you to know that what you're saying does not make sense. Or if you say it, I don't know your true connotation of it. Because if it's a word, that was used as a derogatory way for centuries, and then, black people turned it into a term of endearment. If you say it, how am I, like, for most black people, it's always used as a term of endearment, or like, on the rare chance, if you're watching World Star, it's, something used as an insult or something, whatever. But if I'm to walk up to say I never met Kirby before, and he just said it to me, how am I supposed to know if it's derogatory or not?
Can I just mention?
Why'd you start fucking cackling? Why'd you start laughing? Why did you start laughing?
Because it's such I can't see myself doing that.
I was just using it as an example.
I know, but my brain was like, your white ass wouldn't fucking do that.
Kirby's
you get fucking stabbed.
Kirby's just like, would I say it? He's looking at his hand. He's looking at his hand like the Hannibal Buress thing. He's just like, could I be a white nigga? Could I be the white?
I'm the fucking White Ranger.
Oh my god!
Right. What was you gonna say, Dylan?
Oh, I was about to say.
That's getting clipped, by the way.
It's kind of crazy how we went from princes to the consequences of saying the N-word as a white person.
No, we go from talking about princes to the consultation of how free speech should be labeled.
Yeah, and yeah.
We're about to start a fucking war at this point.
Oh yeah.
When you post all these clips to TikTok, we're gonna be in so much trouble.
Of course. That and TikTok's allowing 10-minute videos now, so...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, yes, I'm still trying to keep all the videos under a minute, because algorithm. But
and stuff we can post everywhere.
Are you kidding? You're telling me I'm not going to post me looking at Dylan going, Dylan, as the other white man in the call, do you get called racist when you say you're for free speech?
As a fellow white man.
As a fellow colonizer, what do you agree with me?
Oh my god.
Don't you agree with me?
British head ass over here. Oh my god.
I love
one colonizer to another.
Colonizer to another. Nah, I'm not gonna make that joke because you definitely have to bleep it out.
Yep.
Oh my Christ.
Okay.
Alright.
Should we segue or?
In a meme context, I love using the word colonizer because it's so fucking stupid. I have never not giggled every time I hear the word now because I've been called it so much.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been called it a lot.
Look at this colonizer thinking that he has a hard life. This white, straight man.
Alright, no. I remember I explained to someone how... I remember, like, one of the very few times I went up to Liverpool that I've almost been fucking stabbed. And I had to explain it to, like, one of my black mates, Nathan. And he looked at me and went, your colonizer ass almost got black, didn't it? And I'm like, what? Excuse... What? I've never been given that context in my life.
Oh my god.
By the way, I did the because I'm gonna bleep out that part.
If you're gonna bleep out that part, then I'm gonna say my fucking joke. I'm just gonna say the fucking 2 colonizers with their slave. Because it's just whenever we watch the podcast back, it's just gonna be the 2 colonizers and their beep.
Bro, I'm not bleeping that. That's fucking hilarious. That and you said it.
That almost
He's
kind of
black.
sounds like a.
He can say it. He's black. He could say it.
It almost kind of sounds like a bar joke. Two colonizers and a bleep walk into a bar or something.
Yeah, that'd be the white way of saying the joke. 2 colonizers and a bleep walk into a bar.
Oh, yeah. We couldn't hear the other guy.
The bleep starts wiping the table.
The bleeps fixed the colonizers' mistakes.
Problematic talk.
Oh, I've got a headache, mate. Fuck me.
Oh my god. Dear lord.
Oh my
I'm still
God.
gonna be streaming after this.
Oh, that's
And tomorrow.
lit. I'm probably gonna go on a walk and then I have to look after the dogs until my drunken mother comes in. Because she's outside, she's out drinking with the Irish. Because she has to do that
The
every...
British getting along with the Irish? That's not very common.
Well, my mum worked in a fucking bar, so there you go. That should explain it, why.
Yeah, that explains it.
That and many people like drinking with my mum. And she's out with them for like 2 days, so I'm gonna be looking at the dogs for a fucking while. So this episode won't be uploaded until like Monday, probably. The audio version, anyway. The visual version of last week's episode should be up by Monday. Because trying to edit
like,
through that is a pain.
But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming tonight, I think. Probably for a little bit, not very long. And then tomorrow's the big stream, you know?
Yeah.
That's gonna be painful. I bought...
We're gonna get a message from James later going, dude, I wanna die.
Bro, I wanna die just thinking about it, because it's like... Because day 1 raid, right? We're not going for worlds first, because we don't have enough time to prepare that much for it. Like, all of us have jobs, you know, we don't have time to really devote to the game, to, you know, find out the best strats and everything, whatever, just to get the thing done. And the fact that's, 1, we don't know any of the mechanics yet for the raid, and 2, the difficulty is going to be higher because it's day 1. We're going to be in there for a minute. So I've just realized I've gone through about 4 Diet Pepsi cans of the first 6-pack. But I want to clarify, these are like small cans. These are the mini cans. So don't think I'm like just chugging 16-ounce Pepsis.
I just realized,
It's gallon-sized cans.
I just realized I haven't drank like in 2 hours.
Oh, that's because I've had a cup of coffee and a bottle of fucking water right next to me. I've just been drinking those the entire time.
Oh man.
And a packet of soft Mr. Kiplings.
Yeah. How long has it been now?
An hour and 54 minutes.
Jesus. Do you want to close out or are we still going?
Yeah, no, let's close out because James needs to stream.
Right.
I need to look after the dogs, and we both.
Anything you wanna shout out, Dylan?
Oh, nah.
not his YouTube channel, not his Twitter, no nothing.
Probably after this stream, I'm not gonna shout anything out.
Hey, hi, hello. Sorry to put in at the end of the video here, but didn't want any of his socials to be let out because he doesn't really show his voice on his regular content. So for now, I'm gonna just shout out mine and James's content, which is just full of shit, aka on Twitter and Twitch, each respectively. Don't forget to go follow those. Don't forget to subscribe to see more fucking podcasts, and hit the like button, because I bet you've not done any of that yet. I'm disappointed in you because of the fact you didn't do that. Anyway, it is far too late in the middle of the night. This was made ages ago. I'm going to bed. Good night, or good morning, or afternoon, whenever the fuck you're seeing this. Bye. Hoop.